Hey, what's going on, guys? It's Cole here, and before this weird little video starts, I just wanted to explain why this even exists. A few months ago, a YouTuber by the name of Zanyverse reached out to me and asked if I would like to be a part of a larger project with a ton of different gaming YouTubers, each covering one game from the year 2010. He said it was essentially going to be like this giant retrospective of the entire year of 2010 in video games with a bunch of different YouTubers each covering their own game. And at the time that he reached out to me, Metal Gear Solid Peace Walker hadn't been picked up by anyone, so I of course had to jump on board. But to prevent the video from becoming ridiculously long, we each had a time limit of about 5 to 7 minutes to cover our games, which I'm sure you can imagine is a bit of a challenge when you're covering a whole Metal Gear title. Despite how challenging it would be though, it sounded like an awesome project, and I was down for the challenge, so now here we are with this little 7-minute Peace Walker video. I decided to upload it for you guys because I think it turned out pretty well, and it's also just a little teaser of what you could expect from the full video. I'll be uploading this the morning after the full project goes public, so if you like this portion, or if you're just interested in the general concept, then definitely check out the link in the description below to watch the full thing. With all that out of the way though, I'll let the chapter play, and I hope you guys enjoy. One of the most overlooked games of 2010 was easily Metal Gear Solid Peace Walker. MGS Peace Walker was the 7th mainline installment of the Metal Gear franchise that was developed and published by Konami in April of 2010, originally being released exclusively for the PlayStation Portable, but later being re-released on the PlayStation 3 and Xbox 360 with an HD port from Bluepoint Games, which is the version that I'm using in my footage here. And while it's no easy task to try to fit a review of a Metal Gear game into less than 10 minutes, I'm pretty sure I'm the only guy Zany could find who's brave enough to even try, so we're just gonna go for it and see how we can do. Peace Walker is set in Costa Rica in the year 1974, placing it 10 years after the events of Metal Gear Solid 3 Snake Eater. The game's story serves as a direct sequel to Metal Gear Solid 3, with players once again getting to play as Big Boss, and many of the characters and events from MGS 3 being critical to understanding the story of Peace Walker. If you're a fan of Metal Gear's unique brand of storytelling, or just have a general fascination with Cold War-era stories, then Peace Walkers will certainly be right up your alley. It's got some incredible writing that knows how to blend its intrigue, comedy, and emotional moments near perfectly, is portrayed through these stunning hand-drawn cutscenes, and serves as the direct setup to a certain Metal Gear title that I'm sure a lot of you out there have played. And while the story is truly great here, it's not the reason that I recommend that people play Metal Gear Solid Peace Walker. No, my friends, the reason that I urge all of you to play Peace Walker is for its gameplay. Its core gameplay mechanics are shockingly good for a PSP title, with all of the trademark shooting, stealth, and even CQC mechanics of the Metal Gear franchise being translated over here in a way that's frankly mind-blowing considering the hardware this was released on. The controls are a bit janky at times, and definitely don't have that smoothness of something like MGS 3 or MGS 4, but considering that it was made to be played on one of these things, it's hard to really fault them for that. And in spite of some rougher controls and some really stupid enemy AI, the stealth is still overwhelmingly satisfying here, just like it is in all the other Metal Gear games. But what really makes Peace Walker stand out from the rest of the series so much is its general structure. See, instead of slowly exploring a large series of levels that are all stitched together seamlessly and give an almost semi-open world feeling to the game, here in Peace Walker, we get a set of missions that can be selected from the menu. Here, there are story missions that will take you through the main story of the game, as well as a variety of side missions that will give the player all sorts of cool rewards for completing them. Each of these missions are typically around 5 to 10 minutes long a piece, making them the perfect length for some quick gaming sessions on a handheld system. And the rewards you get by completing them tie directly into Peace Walker's bold new base management mechanics. At the beginning of the game, players are granted access to a small offshore base of their own called Mother Base, and are told that Big Boss can use this base to build up his own private army. So while you're out completing missions, anytime you knock out an enemy soldier, you can use the new Fulton recovery system to send them back to base for recruitment. And after they've been reconditioned, they can be assigned to a variety of teams around the base, like your combat team, your research and development team, your medical team, you get the idea. Each of these individual teams will then offer their own unique contributions to your overall progression. You can send members of your combat team out on their own missions to collect rewards for you passively as you play. Your research and development team can produce all new weapons and items for you that you didn't have access to previously, and so much more. So the general gameplay loop here is that you do a bit of management back at Mother Base to unlock some new gear, then go out and use that gear for a few minutes on a mission to gather resources and recruit more soldiers, then come back to base to spend those resources you just got on new gear before doing the whole thing over and over again. It's an incredibly addictive loop, and one that I often fall into for hours at a time whenever I decide to pick the game back up. And I haven't even mentioned a ton of the smaller things that just make this game so much cooler than it already is, like how the entire game is playable in co-op with a friend, or how when battling against armored vehicles or attack helicopters, you can choose to tackle these fights non-lethally for a chance to capture that vehicle and add it to your own private army. There are so many cool little details and nuances that just simply can't fit into a video like this, but that all add up to making this game an amazing product. And that's not even mentioning how many awesome pieces of content there are for you to dive into after you've completed the main story. You could of course just stop playing the game once the main story ends, but then how would you get the chance to build your own functional Metal Gear to send out on missions? Or how would you find that secret Monster Hunter crossover that lets you fight iconic monsters from that franchise as Metal Gear's big boss? And most importantly, how would you achieve the true second ending of the game that actually sets things up for the inevitable Metal Gear Solid 5? There's just so much packed into this little PSP title, and you could easily sink close to 100 hours into it without even seeing everything that it has to offer. So if anything that I talked about here stood out to you, I would seriously urge you to give Peace Walker a look. It's easily one of my favorite games that I've found during my time trying out new stuff for my YouTube channel, and one that I've recommended to personal friends of mine time and time again since I first played it. If you just want to play through it for the story and then be done, that's perfectly fine, but if you find yourself wanting more once the credits roll, then luckily for you, you've only just barely scratched the surface. And before I leave, I want to give a huge thank you to Zany for reaching out to me about this video. It's an awesome project that can't have been easy to put together, so definitely show him some love for doing so. I'll hope to see some of you guys swing by my channel and say hi sometime, but with that said, thank you all for listening, and I'll hand things back over to Zany now.